welcome back. It's Kristen from Kristen DIY. And today I am trying another challenge, and this one is called the Spring Clean Challenge. This one is hosted by Sab from Sab's Rehabs, and there will be a link to her YouTube page in my description. So go ahead and check that out. But today with this piece, for the challenge, we had to find a free piece of furniture anywhere. It could be on the side of the road, it could be on Marketplace, just a free piece, and then we have to give it a complete new look and clean it up. So this is the piece that I found, and I'll show you a picture with the hardware and what it looked like. I was having some trouble finding a piece of free furniture. Every time I found one on Marketplace or next door or something, it was gone before I could even get to it. So my friend from church texted me this, and she said her mother-in-law is cleaning out their house, they're getting rid of furniture, and everything is free. So I'm going to show you a picture from my phone of that text, and you know that it's free. I won't show her name or anything, but there's a picture of it and that it says free. So this was a piece that I got from her. This piece was in pretty good shape. It's a little bit older, and there were a few like dings on it. So I already have scuff sanded this piece, and I did a couple places with wood fill and sanded those down, but it really wasn't that bad. So what I'm gonna be doing with this piece today is a faux linen look. I've seen a lot of people try this, and I think it looks beautiful. It looks a little bit scary to me and intimidating, but it's a challenge, and so it's gonna be a challenge for me, but I'm gonna share what I learned with you, and hopefully it turns out beautifully. I'm gonna give you a close-up and tell you of everything that we are gonna be using today. Okay, for this piece, we are going to first be using the bin primer, Zinsser bin primer with shellac, and this is actually going to be used as the top coat. So we're gonna apply 2 coats of this and let that dry, and we're gonna be sanding in between each coat to make it as smooth as we can. And then we are gonna be mixing a medium, and I'm gonna be using Floetrol and 1 Hour Enamel, and this is from Wise Owl, in Atomic Blue. And so we are gonna mix these with a 1-to-1 ratio, and then that is how we're gonna get the faux linen look, or that's gonna be the paint that we use. And for that look, I'm gonna be using a wire kind of nylon brush. And then I also got a smaller one for the smaller spaces on the dresser. I bought the brushes on Amazon. In fact, I think I have everything. The Floetrol you can get on Amazon. Wise Owl, you can just go to their website. And then the primer, you can get that at any hardware store. So I'm really excited. This is what we're gonna be using. We're just gonna paint on the primer. Like I said, 2 coats, and then we'll get to the fun part. Okay, we're gonna apply the first coat of the primer. I think that I said before, I said it wrong. The primer is used as a base coat. I think that I called it a top coat, but it's the base coat. And so we're gonna apply at least 2 coats, maybe 3, but we'll take a look and see. And then we're gonna sand in between the coats, like I said, and then we'll get to do the faux linen part. Make sure you give this a really good stir too. Okay, we have the first coat of the primer on, and I'm just gonna take some sandpaper and I'm gonna lightly go over it and make sure it's smooth, and then we're gonna apply the second coat. Okay, we are ready for the fun part. I did end up putting, as you can see, it's nice and wide. I ended up putting 3 coats of the primer on this and sanding in between each coat. I'm really excited. This is kind of where you make the piece your own. So what I have done is I poured 2 ounces of the Wiseowl 1 Hour Enamel into this cup. And then I took the Floetrol, and remember you want to mix these up really well, mix the paint and shake the Floetrol. Then I put 2 ounces of the Floetrol and then just a little bit more. And then I mixed it really well. And I'm gonna do that again before I use it. So this is about a 1-to-1 ratio of the paint and the Floetrol, which is exactly what I want. If you do, if you want a darker color, you do 2-to-1 paint and Floetrol, and then if you want a lighter, you would do obviously more Floetrol than paint. So I'm doing about 1-to-1 ratio for a nice medium look. I don't want it super dark, but I also don't want it really light. So then you're gonna take your paintbrush, and you don't need a ton of this, but you do just want nice even strokes, especially along the edges. And then it would be a lot easier for me if I didn't have edges and I had a nice smooth dresser, but this was the piece that I got for free. So this is what I'm gonna use. But you wanna make sure that's completely covered. Then also what you need to know while you're doing this is it does dry quickly. So you do want to work in smaller areas. And you wanna make sure that the paint is pretty even. It doesn't have to be exactly even. But you don't want globs of it here and there because that will kind of show through. So I'm just gonna go over this and make sure every edge is covered. And the edges can be a little tricky. Then I'm just gonna go over it with my paintbrush. Nice, just back and forth smooth strokes like this. Keep in mind the edges, you don't want to get globbed up along the edges. That's a technical word there. Okay. I will lift that up so you can see just a nice even coat. And then you're going to want some kind of cloth that you can wipe off the brush with for the excess when you use it. You don't want the paint getting globbed up on there or it won't look right. Okay, so we're gonna start with our brush. I'm just gonna make smooth, consistent strokes right across, and then we're gonna wipe it off. Now I did learn that the faster I go, the straighter they are. And this is a project that you do not have to be perfect on, which is honestly part of my favorite. If you have edges, what I did a practice on one of these drawers, and what I learned is to do those separately instead of try to do one long stroke along the edges. It's inconsistent and it doesn't work quite as well. So I do the top and then I do the bottom separately, just like this. Okay, so now we're gonna go the opposite direction. And this is where it looks pretty cool. I did learn that not to go slow and try to make the line straight. It just doesn't work quite as well. And you need to keep in mind that it's not going to be perfect. And you can kind of just play with it and make it what you want it to look like. It's not going to be exactly how other people do it. The lines are going to be perfectly straight. But these kind of projects, kind of like the paint pour, are definitely my favorite. Things that aren't perfect and you can just make it your own. I did try to use the smaller brush on the edges, and that seemed to work fairly well. I'm gonna give you a close-up. Okay, here is a close-up. So far, what it looks like. You can see the lines in there and exactly what it looks like right now. And there are some inconsistencies, which I'm gonna go over, and that's just kind of like I said, where you make it your own, and you don't go overboard, because it will be really hard to fix and it dries fast. So just keep in mind that's not perfect, and every drawer is not gonna look the same. But I'm gonna keep working on this part right here, and I will show you, since I'm left-handed here, and just kind of go over the spots that look a little different or you don't like. You can definitely overdo it and it'll be hard to fix. All right, all the drawers are finished, and I'll give you a look at those in a minute. But now we're ready to do the side. Remember that this is a bigger surface area, so you're gonna have to work quicker so it doesn't dry on you. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just going to paint really quick and then get right to work. I find it's easier to kind of step away from it and get a good look too, instead of right up close. And then even with the drawers, I kind of had to stand up and look over them, and you can get a better idea of what parts aren't very consistent. And if you move quickly, you can touch up any areas like this with the paintbrush. You just can't wait a long time. So you can kind of, there's some things that you can fix that you aren't happy with, but you do have to move quickly. Okay, I have the hardware on and I'm gonna give you guys a close-up look. It is finally finished. Let me give you a look. Here is the piece. The hardware I just purchased from Amazon, and I really like the contrast of the gold and blue. As you can see, there are some inconsistencies with the coloring, but honestly, for my first time trying this, You can see there's a little bit of discoloration there. It is not perfect by any means, but I enjoy doing this so much. This is just, it was really fun. And honestly, it was easier than I thought it was going to be. And here, I'll give you a couple takeaways from this, things that I learned. When you have smaller edges like this, about halfway through, I switched to a smaller brush, and that helped a lot. I would use a more expensive brush, like a zebra or something, that is really smooth and has smooth lines. And that will help. Also, in your application of the paint and the Floetrol, try to make that as even as possible. That will make using the wire brushes so much easier, and you'll get a more consistent look. This is not perfect, and it will be really easy to go down the rabbit hole of trying to fix spots that aren't perfect. I know this isn't perfect, but honestly, for my first time trying it, I'm pretty happy with it. This is something I'm gonna keep doing, and I want to get better at, and I want to perfect this because I think it's such a cool look. I did get some tips from Steelbird Studios, and she's really good at this. So I jumped over to her page to get the basics. So that really helped in learning. Want to give props to her. So yeah, those are the basic things that I've learned from this piece. I hope that you guys really enjoyed this. If you're thinking about giving it a try, please let me know. As you can see, it's not a perfect piece, like I said, but it was so fun, and I'm gonna keep trying and hopefully have some more videos of this style because it was just really awesome and really fun. So thank you so much for Sab's Rehabs for this challenge. Thank you for watching my channel. I appreciate each and every one of you. I would love to hear from you. Please remember to hit like and subscribe and drop any comments, questions, anything that you guys want to say. I would love to hear from you. Thanks again for watching Kristen DIY.